still set down on his butt, but he scoots on his butt around. And yeah. I've got him to do a complete.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Hanging in there. Really tired. But
yeah.
I'm still sober.
Yep, me too.
And my glasses, I can't see squat, so.
Okay. So, like normal, I will let you know, or let everyone know, that if you don't want people to know that you are here in the AA, whether you're a supporter.
I can barely hear you.
Oh. How's this?
Good.
Okay, I might have to hold it today. Anyways, so we are going to start it off like I always do and say, if you don't want people to know that you're here supporting someone else, or you are a recovering alcoholic, or just want to help a friend or family member to become sober and know that there is something out there to help them with, please don't go in the chat, because sometimes what happens is somebody will be watching this video and then they may go to your channel and say something stupid. But anyways, with that said, this is no bullying, no judgment. It is an AA meeting, so that way I can help reach the people who cannot make it to a meeting. So be courteous, be kind, respect each other in the chat. Yeah, and today is Tuesday. For some reason this morning I thought it was Wednesday. Wednesdays I do a live stream at 7:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for my adventures. Good morning, Desert Adventures in Arizona. Thank you for coming and being a big support, and I appreciate you and everyone else that comes in here. If you're a newcomer, welcome. If you are an old timer, you're welcome. Everyone's welcome here. It's a non-judgmental meeting. It is to help reach out and let people know that there is help out there for everyone who needs the help with quitting drinking and whatever habit you may have. Because you can use this for everything. And thank you, Roy and Becky, for the raid. I appreciate you guys being the support and letting me be part of this wonderful community and accepting me for who I am and for what I am. Yeah, so we're gonna give it a couple seconds here and then get the meeting started. So I started doing the AA meetings here because I was given this gift for free, and I figured why not share it for free. And not everyone can go out to a meeting, or they have the health issues that don't allow them to go somewhere, or they just don't have the transportation. So, and I get this platform for free, so why not share it?
And it's actually, we read the book and we tell you our story.
Mhm.
If you want to share your story in the chat, just be aware that other people can see it when it uploads.
Wait a
And
minute.
what?
When I checked Saturdays, it didn't upload to chat. So I might be wrong on that part, guys. So don't quote me. I'm going to check it real quick and see, because it all changes all the time. So you never know. So let me see. Yeah, see, it doesn't say. See what others. Okay, yeah, you can. Okay, but it's different how you have to bring it up. So, and not everybody knows how to do that. So, but anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and get this meeting started, and when we are done reading, however far we're going to read today, because we are in the big book, and the big book, the chapters are very long. So let's get it started. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm going to put this out here. My husband did say that if anyone needs a book, to send me an email, and we will buy a book and send it to you for free.
However, I don't think that somebody was able to get the email through to you. So I don't know. I don't know what or how to update that.
I believe that you can just go to my channel, and in my description there's my link. It comes to a email, and you should be able to email me through there.
Yeah. Maybe somebody can help with that question later.
Yes, like Lily says, we have decided to not give up not give a rip what others say. We are not ashamed of our journey. Exactly. We are on this long journey, and I've been on it for 8 years and almost 8 months. And Lily is coming up on her 8th year on July 19th, and I'm very proud. And I am very happy to be a sponsor to people and be able to do this for free. So I'm going to read the steps, and then we'll get into chapter 4 in the big book. We agnostics. I think that's what that word is. I might be wrong. The name of the chapter we're in.
Let me look. I have so many pages marked in here. We agnostics.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah.
Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a greater power than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have all defective characters. 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Thank you, Kenny.
9.
9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Cheers to the coffee, guys.
What?
I said cheers to the coffee, guys. Okay. We agnostics. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic. If when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if you are drinking, you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience can conquer. To one who feels he is an atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible, but to continue as he is means disaster, especially if he is an alcoholic of the hopeless variety. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on a spiritual bias are not always easy alternatives to face. But it isn't so difficult. About half our original fellowship were of exactly that type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were not true alcoholics. But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life, or else perhaps it is going to be that way with you. But cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheists or agnostic. Our experience shows that you need not be disconcerted. If a mere code of moral or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. We could wish to be moral, we could wish to be
Philosophically.
comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. That means we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we are going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholism problem and explain our fellowship. But his faith falls when we speak of spiritual matters, especially when we mention God. For we have reopened a subject which our man thought he had neatly evaded or eventually or entirely ignored.
We know how he feels. We have shattered his honest doubt and prejudice. Some of us have been violently anti-religious. To others, the word God brought a particular idea of him with which someone had tried to impress them during childhood. Perhaps we rejected this particular conception because it seemed inadequate. With that rejection, we imagined we had abandoned the God idea entirely. We were bothered with the thought that faith and dependence upon a power beyond ourselves was somewhat weak, even cowardly. We looked upon this world of warring individuals, warring theology systems, and
Inexplicable.
At many individuals who claim to be godly. How could a supreme being have anything to do with it all? And who could comprehend a supreme being anyhow? Yet in other moments we found ourselves thinking, when enhanced by a starlit night, who then made all this? There was a feeling of awe and wonder, but it was fleeting and soon lost. As we of agnostic temperament have had these thoughts and experiences, let us make haste to reassure you. We found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice and experience even a willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, we commenced to get results. Even though it was impossible for any of us to fully defend or comprehend that power, which is God. Much to our relief, we discovered we did not need to consider another's conception of God. Our own conception, however inadequate, was sufficient to make the approach and to effect a contact with Him. As soon as we admitted the possible existence of a creative intelligence, a spirit of the universe underlaying the totality of things, we began to be possessed of a new sense of power and direction, provided we took other simple steps. We found that God does not make too hard terms with those who seek Him. To us, the realm of spirit is broad, roomy, all-inclusive, never exclusive or forbidding to those who earnestly seek it is open, we believe, to all men. When therefore we speak to you of God, we mean your own conception of God. This applies to other spiritual expressions which you find in this book. Do not let any prejudice you may have against spiritual terms deter you from honestly asking yourself what they mean to you. At the start, this was all we needed to commence spiritual growth. To affect our first conscious relation with God as we understood Him. Afterward, we found ourselves accepting many things which then seemed entirely out of reach. That was growth. But if we wished to grow, we had to begin somewhere. So we used our own conception, however limited it was.
Okay. We needed to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe, or am I even willing to believe, that there is a power greater than myself? As soon as a man can say that he does believe or is willing to believe, we empathetically assure him that he is on his way, or she. It has been repeatedly proven among us that upon this simple cornerstone, a wonderfully effective spiritual structure can be built. That was great news to us, for we had assumed we could not make use of spiritual principles unless we accepted many things on faith, which seemed difficult to believe. When people presented us with spiritual approach, how frequently did we all say, I wish I had what that man has. I'm sure it would work if I could only believe as he believed. But I cannot accept as surely true the many articles of faith which are so plain to him. So it was comforting to learn that we could commence at a simpler level, because a seeming inability to accept much of faith often found ourselves handicapped by a
Obedient.
sensitiveness, our unreasoning prejudice. Many of us have been so touchy that even casual reference to spiritual things made us bristle with agnosticism. This sort of thinking had to be abandoned, though some of us recited. We found no great difficulty in casting aside such feelings. Faced with alcoholic destruction, we soon became as open-minded on spiritual matters as we had tried to be on other questions. In this respect, alcohol was a great persuader. It finally beat us into a state of reasonableness. Sometimes this was a tedious process. We hope no one else will be prejudiced for as long as some of us were. The reader may still ask why he should believe in a power greater than himself. We think there are good reasons. Let us have a look at some of them. The practical individual of today is a stickler for facts and results. Nevertheless, the 20th century readily accepts theories of all kinds. provided they are firmly grounded in fact. We have numerous theories, for example, about electricity. Everybody believes them without a murmur of doubt. Why this ready acceptance? Simply because it is impossible, to explain what we see, feel, direct, and use without a reasonable assumption as a starting point. Everybody nowadays believes in scores of assumptions for which there is good evidence, but no perfect visual proof. And does not science demonstrate that visual proof is the weakest proof? It is being constantly revealed as mankind studies the material world. That output appearance are not inward reality at all to illustrate. We're going to stop there. And um, so I've told everybody I have spontees. I'm not a very religious person. I am baptized, but I'm not religious. So I have spontees. Well, one of my spontees came to me and asked exactly that question, or said that exact thing. I don't believe in God. Atheist. Okay. So I was like, but I'm not telling you you have to talk to God. I'm telling you there is a higher power. And when you explain it as a higher power, it is like, okay, so this is what you make it what you want it to be, which is, in my opinion, a lot better than scaring off the newcomers that are like, well, you're talking about God, and I'm going to be like out of here quicker than, lickety split. So that is why we always say a power greater than ourselves, because not everyone is religious. Not everyone wants to hear about God. Not everyone wants to say prayers all the time, But for us alcoholics, we need to know that there is something greater than ourselves to send all of those things to, whether it is a rock, a dog, another human being, or what have you, a piece of paper. Write it down. And I mean, it's anything, literally.
That's also, if you think about it, AA is a community. It's a community.
Yeah.
Our friends here on YouTube that we have met have made a community,
Yes.
not just one, multiple.
Yep.
And we try to support one another.
Yep.
Whatever walk of life you are, whatever your issues may be, whatever, nobody in this world is perfect,
Yeah.
And nobody in this world believes what everybody else believes. I'm not going to come and push my beliefs on you, and please don't come and push your beliefs on me. If people don't like me, I'm sorry. I am who I am. I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm a recovering drug addict, and I'm not ashamed of it. I have found a community to help me stay clean and sober.
Yep.
I was ashamed and didn't want my parents to know. Apparently, they probably know, and that's okay.
Yep.
I'm not ashamed.
Right. So for me, I mean, I was baptized. I got baptized because my grandmother wanted me to get baptized. And my boys are both baptized, but we're not like church going people. I mean, it's been years since I went to church. And but I found AA and it taught me about a higher power. And so when I learned that, I was like, okay, so I don't have to be religious to be part of this group. And that's one thing that made it a lot easier. And I think it makes it a lot easier on other people is when you come to the big book and you learn that this is not about God, it is about us and letting us know that we can have a higher power of whatever we want it to be or whoever we want it to be. And that makes it so much easier to be part of because a lot of people don't want to go and like there's atheists, there's agnostics, there's all kinds of walks of life that don't have that, God thing, and that's fine. And it's wonderful that everybody that I have met that have come to the AA group, they have learned that they don't have to be worried about always talking about God because that's not what it's about. It is about finding our spiritual thing to be able to bring us to ourselves and open up and really get to the point of we are recovering alcoholics. And without this group, who knows what's going to happen? I didn't start AA until I was already like 4 months sober. But, I did it. And that's because a friend reached out to me and he's like, there's an AA group in Estacada. There, I said it. My home group is in Estacada. And I'm so proud that I found that because I'm almost 8 years and 8 months sober. And I am so proud of myself, but I have to also be proud of the fact that I have a home group. I go to AA. When I have moved, I found an AA meeting there. And I have sponsees and I have sponsors. I have 2 sponsors, you guys, 2. And I talk to one off and on and one that I don't talk to hardly ever, but she's always at the meeting. Now, my second sponsor is in a different state, which is great because she knows me very well. And she was a co-worker of mine from when I was hosting. And, my sponsees, they know that they help me just as much as I help them. And that's why I started this AA meetings here because I want to help whoever that may be that might be needing a meeting today or any day of the week because you can watch the replay and listen to the meeting. And this is the most I've shared my story ever. And this is worldwide, AA on here can go everywhere. And I was terrified at first, and that I was asking questions to my other fellow community people here in the YouTube world, and some said, "Oh yeah, you should," and some said, "I don't know if it's such a great idea because you're putting yourself on blast." And I was like, "Well, on one hand, yes, I am putting myself on blast, but in one hand, the bigger hand says, do it. You will probably help someone." And so that's why I'm doing this. That is why I'm reaching out, sharing my story, telling people my personal stuff about my AA journey. You guys, it has not been easy. It's not been a happy go lucky ride. It's been a rocky, bumpy ride where, yes, I have wanted to give up. I have wanted to go back out. I have, all these things that sometimes pull at me, and there's one year saying yes you do, no you don't, and it takes a lot of willpower to go with the better and say no.
I have had recently been craving alcohol. And I'm not ashamed to admit it, because I know every week, twice a week, I don't have to leave my house to go and talk about sobriety and talk about my feelings of sobriety, sharing my story. And if people don't like my story, I don't care.
It's your truth.
They can bash me all they want. Yes, I am a recovering alcoholic. And I know I repeat myself. I do it quite often.
You have to always repeat to yourself when you're a recovering alcoholic or a recovering addict, or you're just simply trying to stop doing something. Like, I quit smoking for 60 days and then I went back because I didn't have that mentality for quitting smoking that I do for the alcohol. Like, I constantly remind myself every second of every day, I am a recovering alcoholic. I am a recovering alcoholic. And you know what? I can't forget that, because if I do, if I think for 1 second that I could go out and just have one drink, that's not good, because when you do that, for me, I always remember, if I have that one drink, I'm not going to stop. And who knows how long it will take me to stop, because I have already done that once. And that was not since I have started my AA journey. I have been going to AA for almost 8 years. And before that, I had quit drinking for a year. I constantly had a cross around my neck, and I was always thinking, if I take this cross off, I'm going to go back to drinking. That's how I did it that time. I took the cross off and I went back to drinking.
I actually, and I have a video about my tattoos. I have Serenity tattooed on my arm so that it always reminds me that I cannot personally go drink. I'm fine with everybody else drinking.
Yeah.
I can be totally fine around it. Okay? I don't judge people that drink, because that's their choice.
Yeah.
You know? If you want to drink when I'm around, go ahead. Just don't, please don't act rude, like a jerk. You know, most people who drink can do it socially and be totally fine, you know, and other people cannot. I know for myself personally, I cannot. That's why when I am saying things in chat for meetups or whatever have you, it's because I need to make sure for myself that I'm holding myself accountable. I can't have certain things for certain reasons.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's
And
my 2 cents. That's my story, you know. And
yeah, there is a difference between that. There is a obnoxious alcoholic, or just being obnoxious when you're drunk. Um, that doesn't make you an alcoholic. What makes you an alcoholic is you are like, you can't say no to the alcohol. There's a problem. Um, which I have learned for myself is if I don't tell people no, which I do tell them no. Every time someone has offered me a drink in the past 8 years, I have looked at them and said, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and no, I do not want that drink. And I do that on purpose because if I don't remind myself that I'm an alcoholic, then I might slip and do that, and that's something I don't want to do. I don't even use mouthwash with alcohol in it. I don't take cold medicine with alcohol in it. I don't take any medication with anything with alcohol in it, period. And that's just my choice. I don't even eat anything if it's got alcohol in it. I know alcohol cooks out, but no, I don't even do that. So that is my choice. And when somebody wants to drink, that's fine. I don't have a problem with people that drink either. But when you're being obnoxious or you're acting like a bully and you're pushing it on people, that's not okay. That's the only thing that I'm saying about someone being drinking and being obnoxious and being a pusher. That
and
is not okay.
also too, in my sobriety, I have learned to always have a way out, because if somebody is being a jerk when they're drunk, I know I can get up and I can leave.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband drinks, and he gets obnoxious sometimes, and I have to tell him, you're really starting to irritate me. Could you please back off?
Yeah.
And most of the time, he's learning to listen to me. And so he does,
Yeah.
but I can't force him to stop drinking. And I'm not going to leave him because he is. I love him for him. I love him unconditionally.
Yep. Thank you, Brene. I appreciate that. Yeah, it had. I had lost my voice. I had lost the spark of wanting to live. When I was drinking, and I was close to giving up on everything and just going and being alone. And then I found sobriety, and let me tell you, it has been so wild of a ride. I've watched my kids graduate. I've watched nieces and nephews graduate. I have seen my great nieces and nephew born, becoming life. And I've done a lot of amazing things being sober. Like I've had 3 or 4 jobs since I got sober. My last one I stayed with for a year. And so, yeah, I've accomplished quite a bit being sober, but I did also a lot of damage while I was drinking. And I always remember that that was a bad time in my life, but I had to learn from it, and I've grown from that. And I always have that with me to remember of who I was at that point. And that person I did not like at all. I was mean. I lied a lot. I thought people were believing me when I was saying, you know, sneaking out at 7 o'clock in the morning or before then to go to the store and grab me another beer. Bum and change as I'm heading to the store thinking, okay, I'm going to definitely be able to get enough for this beer, you know. But I don't think I was fooling even myself, but I thought I was fooling everybody. And it was a wake up call when I finally did get sober and they're like, no, we knew. We all knew. And it was like, really? You guys knew what I was doing? And I'm just glad that I gained my family back. I have great, wonderful friends. I have met amazing people here on YouTube and a wonderful community that I've been welcomed to. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I have this platform that I can also share these things with because, I've never voiced my story except for maybe 15 minutes worth, and here I can voice it and I feel great doing that and reaching to other people that have the same problems. Not everybody is lucky enough to have a sister or a friend to do this with them. And I have a sister and I have a lot of friends that do this with me. And other family members that are on the same journey. So, it is a wonderful thing for me to be able to do. And I'm very proud to do it. This is my life, my story, and I'm open to sharing it.
Same here, because if I don't, I know I have a chance of going back to drinking, and that's something I don't want to do. I'm trying very hard. Things have been a little tough here lately, but I'm sticking with it. I'm not gonna drink. I say, every morning I wake up sober is another day that I'm grateful for.
Yep.
Like, very grateful for.
Yep.
And I find that sometimes being alone is really good. And sometimes you need to know when you need to reach out. Because if you don't reach out, there's that chance. That's why I'll call my sister. I'll call my daughter. I'll call anybody.
Yep.
Like, I need to talk because I don't want to go drink.
Right.
Just because you do doesn't mean I'm judging you.
Yeah.
I don't judge people because it's not right to judge people. I may not like things that you do. I may not like, comments that people make. I may not like this, that, or the other thing. I'm trying to not judge people.
Yep.
Sometimes it's pretty hard when you don't understand what's going on.
Yes. Right.
So I learn every day, that it's not my will. I can't tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't judge people because of what they do. Because I've been there, and it is hard sometimes for people. And mental health is very, very important. Very important.
I think my dog farted.
And that's my story. That's how I feel.
I think the dog farted.
Probably.
So yes, this chapter is great because it reminds me that not everyone believes in a God. Matter of fact, okay, so I already told you guys about one of my sponsees being atheist. So I stressed to her it's not God, it's just a higher power, whatever you choose. And she's going to church.
Okay, well,
Her and my goddaughter go to church. It is not a normal church, but they still go and they get with their community. And you know, when she told me that, I was like, "What? Really?" So,
community. That's
yep,
what it is. It's
yep.
community.
And she lives in a very small community. So, but yeah, it makes
That,
me proud.
that's her story, though. So,
Yep, makes me so proud of you and her and my friend who he's like, I don't remember how long I am sober. That's how long it's been. But I know he was like 6 months to a year less than me. So, but yeah, it's pretty amazing when you have a group that you can go to that makes you feel welcome and makes you feel part of a community, which I feel here. And yeah, I'm just happy to be able to do this for everybody and myself. It reminds me to stay sober, and you have one day at a time. One day at a time. So, with that, we're coming up to 53 minutes, and I will close this out with the Serenity Prayer, and then we will see you around in the chats. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And please, if you were here watching later or watching now, hit the like button. It helps me know that people are watching. And don't forget to subscribe. I do adventure videos on Wednesdays, and then I do another AA meeting on Saturday. So the Wednesday is at 7:15 a.m. on Wednesday mornings, and then on Saturdays it is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another AA meeting. So with that, we're going to say the Serenity Prayer and let everyone have the wonderful rest of your day. And if you're traveling, be safe. Uh, and I love you all. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming
keep
back.
going back.
It
It
works if
works
you
if
work
you
it.
work it.
Love you all.